Pokemon is a catch-them-all type of series. There are multiple cute characters and mascots for your audience and characters to discover. This means that they work very well as card games, toys, video games, board games, and stories. In today's video, I want to talk about how you can create your very own catch-them-all type story with cute characters and mascots for your audience to find out about or collect. I hope you enjoyed today's video and it helps you with your manga creations. So in today's video, we're talking about how to create a story like Pokemon or Digimon, where the characters find or collect multiple cute characters or mascots. My first tip is create a strong main theme. The theme in your story is the morals and the meaning behind your story, and in a catch-them-all type story, it's really important to consider what these events can really teach not only the main characters, but also the audience who is experiencing your story. So for example, is it to make them kinder, or to learn more about themselves, or to find friends who understand them better? By giving your story a stronger main theme, it can help to give your story a stronger meaning and also to help it relate more to your audience who are experiencing the story along with your characters. Now, my second tip is develop a strong power system and meaningful power categories. A power system can help you to better manage your character's powers and understand where the powers are coming from and how your characters might use those abilities. So to begin, consider where the creature's powers come from if these characters throughout your story have unique powers. Now to give you an example, in Pokemon, the characters' abilities and powers are divided into many different categories, which is why there are so many Pokemon as well, who are all very unique, and each of them have their own unique abilities and powers based off this power system. When you're creating your own catch-them-all type story, it's important to think about what types of powers these characters may have and what kinds of abilities they may use throughout the story. In order to develop this with a power system in mind, it's important to think about how these characters manage to have these abilities. Are they naturally born with these unique abilities and powers, or are they types of characters that only your main character can see and work together with? When developing your power system, it's important to think about whether your protagonist may also have unique powers and abilities. Keep in mind as well that your magical characters throughout the story don't necessarily have to have magical abilities and powers, and maybe in your story it might make more sense for those characters to not have special abilities and powers. Now, my third tip is develop a strong reason for the protagonist to find all of these magical characters. A strong goal can make it more important for your character to find all of the magical creatures. And maybe this main goal is your protagonist trying to save the world or to protect others around them, or even to do things on their own accord. Consider not only why the main character should find them, but also what will happen once the main character does find them. Consider the main mission of the story and how these characters can all work together to achieve this. Now again, keep in mind that it's always important to consider what works best for your story. And maybe in your story, the characters do not have special abilities or powers. Maybe it's up to your protagonist to find and protect these various characters throughout your story. Your character may feel like it is their duty to protect these characters because maybe these magical creatures are highly sought after for bad reasons, and your protagonist wishes to protect them and find a safe place for them. So regardless of what the meaning is in your story, really think about why your protagonist is trying to find all of these creatures, whether they're magical or not, and what it means for them to find them once they do. How the protagonist working with these characters can really save the day and help others throughout the world of your book. My fourth tip is consider life lessons and morals. When you are creating one of these types of story, a really positive thing about it is it can help your audience to not only reflect on the characters, but also reflect on themselves and their own lives. Consider what your main character can learn about their own life from these magical creatures. From your main character, finding all of these unique magical mascots and characters, maybe it helps them to see their own life in a new, unique way. For example, they may learn to be kinder, to protect the others around them, or even how to become more confident in themselves. And along with this, the magical characters might help the main character to find happiness and experience that happiness in their own lives. By considering the life lessons and morals, you take the story beyond the confines of your book and instead you make it something more meaningful to your audience and the people reading it in their own lives. They might be able to look at the characters and the story and think about how that might affect them in their lives, and maybe it would make them see things in a new light as they are experiencing them. By doing this, it can actually make your story a lot more relatable, and it can help people feel connected to your main characters, and it can help them feel more connected to the overall mission of the book. And finally, my fifth and final tip is focus on how the story can reach a conclusion. These types of catch-them-all stories tend to be quite long-running, and this is because there are many different magical creatures for your protagonist to discover. Keep in mind that it doesn't necessarily have to be long-running, but in most cases when you see one of these types of stories, such as Pokemon, Digimon, or Yo-kai Watch, they usually tend to be quite long-running because there are so many magical characters for your audience to discover. So when you're creating this type of story on your own, it's really important to consider how the story itself can reach a conclusion. When you understand how your story might effectively end, it can mean that there is something you are working towards as you are creating it. An event that might cause the end of the story might be the main character finding all of the magical creatures, defeating the main boss of the story, or achieving the main goal in the story. As you create your catch-them-all type story, break it into arcs so it is more easily achievable. Thank you so much for watching my video today, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed today's video and you want to learn more about how to create your own long-running manga series, make sure to check out my video specifically on this topic. I go more into depth about arcs and subplots and all of the things that you need to keep in mind when you are writing a longer-running story. I'll put a link to that video in the description below. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day and I will see you in the next video. Bye!